Hi there. I'm sorry if that went right to dark. And this is Jim Miranda Keys, bartender, coming to you from Key Largo. It is a live show, and if you want to, you can go to Spreaker and listen to the show on Spreaker, and you can chat with us live here. I'm just going to post something on there. One like to talk. Boom. There. That's out there. We're going to do one shout out right now. If the listeners, if you recall, I've been trying to reach out to different towns. This was a silly attempt in getting a loyal following from. Whoa! I was just turning up the music there. Sorry if that blasts in. Well, it goes out to Washington, Virginia. So Washington, Virginia is a small historic town in Virginia, not too far from the Maryland border, maybe 30, 40 miles. It's about 1 square mile, and there's about 100 and maybe 50 people there, unless they built a development there recently. But it's a very tiny town. Historic in significance. It was one of the first towns surveyed by George Washington in 1749. Boy, that's way. I mean, if you're one of those listeners, younger listeners, you'd probably say, well, that was way before I was born, so it doesn't really count. Well, it's historic. That was our first president, and he surveyed this town. And I guess not too many more people lived there than did in 1749. I noticed, what was it, about a month and a half ago, that we had about 400 downloads, and I think we've had about another 400 downloads or 300 something downloads from Washington, Virginia this week. So that works out to, if I do my math correctly, about 6 episodes per capita. So that is a lot of listening. And I was assured by Joel, who is in sequestered or quarantine in Virginia. Joel, the frequent co-host, the retired psychologist who lives part of the year in Spain and part of the year in Baltimore, that it wasn't he or his family listening to this. So who's this, John? Oh, okay. John, J-Ron. Hey, J-Ron. Hey, J-Ron. Wow, there is someone listening. Did I get that right? Let's talk, J-Ron. What are you up to? This could be a disaster or may not be a disaster. Let's see. J-Ron, you got one of those hats on like what the guy from A Clockwork Orange. I don't think it was a black hat. I think they had like white derby hats. But I want to thank Washington, Virginia, small but powerful. I was reaching out to the town in Holland, Tijuana, Tijuana, the Hong Kong Gentlemen's Club there, trying to get some kind of sponsorship there. But like a regular, like any club, I think Steve's trying to get on right here. And let me reach out to Steve, see if he's available. I was trying to get hold of Steve to do the podcast, and he was not available, but we're going to try it. But I won't repeat too much what was first said. Here we go. Let's see if he's available. Here we go. Cheers from Canada. Yes, orange hat. Okay, orange hat it is. Very good. J-Ram, are you a listener?
Hello.
Hey, Steve, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, yeah, I'm on one of the. Remember that chat feature on the chat feature that we had on that broadcasting app that we use?
Was that Spreaker or something?
Yeah, yeah, and there's actually someone chatting on me, a J Ron, and this is Steve, the owner of Key Largo Comics, uh, who's on. I just started this show. We're doing it live,
Okay.
so we'll see how that works out. We've been really, I have to Florida, nice. So yeah, um, yeah, J Ron. We are broadcasting right now. I'm going to go and say, J Ron, we are broadcasting as we speak. You can tell I'm not a quick sign. Yeah. So, how are you doing? How was your week?
It was good. It was real good. Yep.
So,
Busy
any
with
new
work.
developments? The your wife is working in the restaurant, right? They opened up.
Well, her restaurant did not open. She works at the smaller
Oh.
location, which is
Mhm.
still closed. So,
So,
yeah.
how about this week?
No, her location is not set to open yet. Just the big location. So, we're still waiting.
J. Ron, who is chatting with us, is from Nova Scotia, and
Wow.
yep. And I was, what's the J. Ron? If you're listening to the show, it's probably easier if you're listening. If you could type in request, if you're listening, can you tell me that you're listening, or are you just? I guess you got to be listening if you're chatting. So they sent from speaker.com, so J. Ron has to be listening. So you could talk to Steve and I right now, but it's only during the chat. Or if you send me your phone number, we could talk to you. I can call you. So Steve, so it's not opening up yet. Not for listening. Great, J. Ron. If you have any questions while we're talking, please tell us, and I'll respond to you. So I won't type back. Not that I'm a bad typer, J. Ron, so it would take a long time. Before you got on, Steve, I had mentioned Washington, Virginia is one of the has the most downloads that I've had in a long time. I think like 400
Wow.
this week and 400 a couple
Really?
weeks ago. But the census says there's only 135 people as of 2010. I didn't see a recent census, but how many people? How long would it take to take a census of a town of 135? Even if it went up double, it'd be 270. So it's around 135. It's only a half a mile square, so it's just like a downtown area, small city.
Right.
And they were one of the original towns surveyed by George Washington back in 1749. I kept on saying 1949, but it comes out to about 6 episodes per resident. No, 6
Yeah.
people. No, 6 6 episodes per. No. Let me get this right. There were, for each episode, 6 times was down. No, it is 6 episodes per resident. Oh man, my math is so goddamn bad right now. Trying to watch these infection rates and stuff like that, and thinking about the percentage of how many people got infected and who didn't get affected and shit like that has really fucked up my thing. So, I've been on speaker for 6 years, 1,000 crazy peeps I met. Oh, well, great, J-Ron. Do you, this J-Ron's been on for speaker for 6 years. I've been on Spreaker for 3 years last month. And we've had, maybe 50,000 downloads. I don't know how many of them are unique downloads, but when you go out to these different broadcast platforms, it's different. So I wonder if this J-Ron, do you have a podcast to tell about, or are you just a listener on it? And J-Ron, I can't tell by your picture if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't really matter if you're a man or a woman. I mean, it does matter to you, but I mean, it doesn't matter to us. We're just happy that this is the first person that's actually contacted us through the chat room. So it's really nice. Yeah. So we are opening up on Monday, the restaurant I work at, The Catch, Steve. And you and your wife are frequent guests there. Oh,
Oh, that's great.
Oh, John, J-Ron, thank you for listening. I hope I hope we can keep up some semblance of quality. I apologize if it's been off, and thank you for being a listener. And you're listening live too, so that's amazing. I think setting it to the 1 p.m. I didn't predict. I didn't give a. We are live. I did tell you that, right, Steve?
Yes.
Okay, so I didn't want you. We're opening. We're opening for kind of like abbreviated hours. We're open from 12 to 8.
Okay.
And the rest.
We'll be in.
Yeah. So I just want to announce this. Jay Ron, I'm just going to announce this other stuff, and I'm going to talk directly to you for a little while. And we'll have some questions. And if you're prepared, you can answer them for us. Or we can answer any questions that you have. The restaurant, the Catch Restaurant in Key Largo at 102 Oceanside will be open starting tomorrow, Monday, which is the 18th, at 12 o'clock. I'm coming in at 4 p.m. I'm working an abbreviated schedule, which I don't mind. It's nice to be back at work. Oh, you only follow live shows, so I don't do pods. Oh, so J-Ron. Oh, J-Ron's a man. Okay. Hey, J-Ron. He looks to be about my age, I guess. Well, thank you for following live shows. I guess we will do live shows then. Oh, I guess you were looking. You're a listener. You haven't been well, J-Ron, we have over 300 episodes, even so it says episode 283. Some of them are quite shit, I have to say. So yeah, I'm working this week, and we're going to still be doing happy hour and stuff like that. So if you come in, you can't at this time, at this moment, as far as I know, you can't sit at the bar. I will be taking care of the bar tables. I'll be bartending and taking care of the bar tables in there, even though we're set at 50%. So if we got room for 30 people in the restaurant, then we have, maybe 15 people at those tables. Maybe at most, probably more like 10. Oh, okay. J-Ron found our show today. So, yeah, J-Ron, normally what we do is I have some topics, and today I wasn't really prepared because it was we had a quick meeting the other day, and I was getting things ready for work. I know, as a bartender, what do you think? What the fuck do I have to do? Just go in, make some fucking drinks. No, there's a lot to go do. You got to get your clothes ready. We have a very specific uniform. And the uniform is, yeah, like you said, random. You choose your podcast at random. I hope we can maintain you as a listener. Since J-Ron's from the land of Trailer Park Boys, I think Nova Scotia was where the Trailer Park Boys was filmed. Steve, have you ever heard of it? Trailer Park Boys?
Is that a show?
Yes, it's awesome. It is an awesome show. It follows the two main characters. The protagonist in the show is Ricky and Julian. And Ricky's always getting high, and he's living in a car in a trailer park, and Julian's a little more get-together. He has it together a little more. And Julian always has a rum and coke in his hand. Even at times when they're getting in gunfights. They have these gunfights. No one gets shot. They just whip guns out all the time and get in gunfights. No one ever gets shot. They roll the cars over every so often, but Julian gets out. He's still holding the rum and coke in his hand. Full rum and coke. But it's not. It's more. The show is more than that. Julian. Yeah, Julian. Yeah, okay. I thought it was Julian question mark. He said Julian thing. So what did I say? I must have said the wrong name, but it's Julian is the two main characters, and always going to jail. Every season they end up going to jail, and then they're coming out and they got a new deal, like either growing weed or trying to run a strip club, or I don't know if they ever did a strip club, but they're always trying to run some kind of deal. And Julian's trying to go legit, and Ricky's always going for something that's kind of not legit, but Julian sometimes goes non-legit too. So if you ever get a chance, listeners out there, if you had a chance to watch Trailer Park Boys, I know that that you're running out of shows to listen to. Trailer Park Boys. There's a lot of episodes, so that'll occupy you if you're going to veg out for something like that. Probably occupy you for a week. There's tons of episodes there, and you have a couple movies. So I mentioned that the catch will be open. You said that the restaurant your wife works at isn't open yet, so we can make. Oh, Trailer Park Boy kidnap Alec life son. Okay, Trailer Park Boy kidnap. If you hear me just refer to something, Steve, it's just because I got a comment from J. Ron.
Yeah.
They have no. They're not speculating when. I guess they're waiting because there's such a. She works at the original Mrs. Max, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's such
a very, very small.
Very small place, so it would be very hard to maintain 6 feet, and
yeah,
and they got the other place. It's a little more roomier with the. Did they put outside tables out there?
They do have outside seating, yeah. On one side of the building. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where. That's why where a lot of restaurants get. Because your capacity, you can exceed capacity outside. You can exceed the percentage capacity if you use the outside. If your inside capacity is like 50 on Monday, you can go up to 25. So our capacity at the restaurant's 150, and we can go up to 75, which makes it a lot easier to maintain a profit. If we get to that. Anecdotally, I've been looking at some of the restaurants that opened, and they look like they get like 15, 20 people at most, if that. Yesterday afternoon, we're riding the bikes down into central Key Largo, and J-Ron, I don't know if you've ever been down here at Key Largo. We're the whole town is around 10,000 people, and that's people that sit here. Are we two cooks? No, we're not two cooks. J-Ron asked if we are two cooks. No, the show's called Florida Keys Bartender. So I am a bartender. Maybe you didn't see the name. I don't know how it comes up with searching there, but it's Florida Keys Bartender, not Florida Keys Chefs. Did we talk about any cooking or anything yet?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. So no, J-Ron, we are not cooks. We are. I'm a bartender, and Steve has his company called Key Largo Comics and does another job which you never talk about.
No.
You still don't. You don't want to talk about.
No, I can talk about it. It's not that exciting.
Well, let's hear it.
Okay. Well, I do compliance for a financial services firm. So, yeah, kind of dry.
What does compliance? It says.
So we just basically make sure that the firm is following all the rules, if you will, set out by the various regulators like the SEC and FINRA. We make sure we're not lying to customers or things of that nature. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it sounds an interesting job, compliance, So that would be you could segue that job into a bunch of other jobs,
Sure.
I would love to be one of those speakers that go from college to college. If I was in my 30s, I would be one of those guys that would give speeches on how to get explicit, what would you call it, permission for sex. That would be awesome. I would love doing that. I was just sitting there telling it. And, I mean, there's a subtle way where you can make it funny but not make light of date rape. There's a way to do it. There's a way to do it. And sometimes you'd have to you'd have to segue into talking about other things like having a cookie, and say it could be like having sex with a girl is taking her cookie. Right? And I'm sure nowadays there's also things with guys too. So, and you have to talk about altered states and things like that. I would love. I think I would. I think I would be excellent doing that. They probably hire people like psychologists and stuff like that. That would probably be kind of bartender. I've bartended just pulling pints for a charity event. Okay, J-Ron. Oh, J-Ron says we have a different title on Spreaker.
Oh.
It says Keys bartender. I mean, I got to check this out. Thank you, J-Ron, for pointing this out. I wonder what J-Ron, what does the title say for our show? Or maybe could you write down what the title is? So, yeah, compliance officer. So I know they have that for insurance companies, financial services.
Right.
God, almost anything out there. And speaking of compliance, the things are getting rather heated down here. People are arguing down in Key West. There was a big protest down there. Not so much up here because we don't have the concentration of people, but a big protest. There was about 40 people in Key West protesting the opening of for the opening of Route 1. And there's two sides of that issue right there. There's a lawsuit as of this past week. There's a lawsuit that was filed by business owners, two business owners, I think, a husband and wife, perhaps, that the county and state are interference with their conduct of business or maintaining. I don't know what it is. And the county had to enter into, I think they had a countersue. Maybe there's a countersuit or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the people that involved, they interviewed a couple people, and it's like, oh my God, I don't want to get involved in politics, but I do end up talking about it sometimes.
Right.
The you can't win an argument with if you have to if you have to maintain, most people have to maintain, if you took up debate or arguments in court, have to maintain a modicum of fact.
Yeah.
So
right.
Okay. Oh, J-Ron. Yeah, that's the episode name. I guess I should put Keys Bartender, and I thought when it shows the episode, it say Keys Bartender episode 283. I didn't have to put it in, but it just shows the title of the episode. Okay. Yeah, J-Ron, there's also that means there's 282 other episodes, and they're different from this one. Some are quite good. So where were we? We were talking about that opening up Route 1 and I told you about the getting back to anecdotal evidence, riding down the highway, the bike path along the highway, watching some of these restaurants. It looked like at best there was 15 people in there. So it's going to be rough going. I think we're going to. Well, life is politics. You're right, J-Ron. When you have to make an argument, you have to base it on facts in a courtroom or in a debate. Now, if you have a source of where people come up with conspiracy theories and specious facts without no scientific study done behind it, or one that's funded by industry, because there's always a Petroleum Institute funds the anti-climate science, right?
Right.
I mean, it'd be like me if I'm talking to, let's say, get back to the date rape thing, and talking to girls, and I say, well, listen, I can say anything to them, and I can base it on my own self-interest. Whenever you're trying to get in, let's say, if my purpose at a party, I'm going straight for it, like a fraternity party or a party on campus when I was in school, was to get laid. And I would say anything in order to do that. Right? And not all of it was factual.
Right.
I said it would be a good time. I'm a great guy. And we're going to go out. We're going to go. We're definitely going to go out. I definitely like you. I definitely think you're pretty. I will respect you in the morning and things like that. Now, I probably did all those things,
Yeah.
and I probably would do all these things. I wasn't that frequent. I was just getting into my groove then, so I wasn't as um, what would you cavalier entering relationships in college as I was out of college. So, but what I'm saying is, I'm making a point that if I had to, if I was trying to get something like the Petroleum Institute is trying to get rid of barriers to, um, let's say, fuel efficiencies for cars, or coal, if you're a coal producer, about particulates in the air that it outputs. They're going to say whatever, and they're going to create. It makes sense to fund science. No one's going to fund science that's going to hurt their economic interest when they're a purely economic group, which the Petroleum Institute is nothing. If they found out that, oh well, it's just proof of the coronavirus shutdowns, right? That we can tell that the air is clearer, the price of gas went
Yeah.
down, that the
Yeah.
canals in Venice are clean.
That's
So
right.
no, the leisure boat industry can't come out and say, well, it's not true that boating does adds to pollution. Well, we have proof there. Or the fish
Right.
stocks out there, like if people aren't fishing, that they're in there. But what I don't even know how we got to that. Oh, we're talking about politics. So we're on the air. We're on Facebook, and you have to argue your point with your facts, our facts, and they create facts from out of the blue. That
Right.
they create facts that suit their argument,
That's
and they
right.
have institutions that create facts in order to support their arguments. They don't have academics institutions that do the study. An academic institution, if it came out and said, I mean, if your primary goal, if someone's an environmentalist, right,
Hmm.
and they found that, let's say, power, electric generation, the generation of electricity, is more harmful than vehicles, right? I
Right.
believe the group would come out and say, listen, we have to concentrate on power plants and making them green. And vehicles are doing a pretty good job of that. I think they would concentrate on that. That's because that's their benefit. Their benefit is not to make money by restricting gasoline powered vehicles, or to make money by building, so it's not the solar power industry that funded the environmental movement. Now, it could be
Right.
now. I can understand that. If you do manufacture windmills or solar cells, you build batteries, yeah, it could be in your interest to push that movement, but it's nowhere as powerful and as robust as the the big industries of oil, coal, electric power
Hmm.
generation, nuclear power. It just doesn't have that. So they're gonna generate as much good press for themselves, but they're not getting it through the academic institutions. Why do people think, well, the academic institutions, because they want to just for us to shit the bed. They want us to return to the
Hmm.
1600s. No, they don't. Why would they? What is in their interest that we lose electricity? There is no
Right.
interest. All you have to do is look at the interest in these people. Now, when they get maybe some of the arguments they have when you have people that argue that's when someone argues for universal health care, you have private insurers, you have pharmaceutical companies, uh, and they have a profit to maintain. They have a special interest to a profit to maintain. So
Hmm.
they have to be able to find. So the first thing they call it socialized medicine. but they don't. The people that are promoting universal health care are seeking not to destroy. They're not. Their point was not to destroy HMOs, because if HMOs were efficient and the lower priced alternative, then I think
Right.
their job, they want to just see more people get health care.
That's right.
And the argument of other people, the other people against it is, well, it's just going to ruin health care for everyone. No, well, that's but that argument is being made by people that make a profit on the delivery of health care. So the same thing
Right.
when you hear death panels and things like that. So down here, when it comes to these Route 1 checkpoints, so there's a checkpoint at the top of Route 1 coming into the Keys, instituted by the county Board of Commissioners to keep the amount of infected, because the hotbeds of Miami-Dade, the most
Yeah.
infected county is directly north of us, and then the second and third counties are the second and third counties after that, which are Broward and Palm Beach.
Yeah.
So they're the ones they saw right now there's almost 2,000 in, is it Florida, 1,000 in Miami dead, and how many tens of thousands infected,
Right.
and the
15,000
Keys,
this morning.
what, 1,500?
15,000 in Dade this morning.
15,000 in Dade.
Infected.
In Key Largo, in the Florida Keys itself, is about 100.
That's
And
right.
up until a couple days ago, I don't have any new thing, there was a total of 3 dead. And and it's much higher north here. So the way they view it, we had a total of 13 ventilators, or 9 ventilators in all the Keys, and 100 and something beds, right? In the Keys. So with 74,000 residents, if we had a 10% infection rate, that'd be 7,000. And we'd quickly go through ventilators. Well, let's say that we got a 5% infection rate. And that would end up being, a couple thousand people. We'd run out of our beds, and we'd be sending people up, first of all, to Miami-Dade, and then to,
Right.
that is already overtaxed, maybe. And that was our purpose, to maintain, because we had a low infection rate, we want to make more. Now the argument, the people not making an argument down here, they're making an argument, the herd infection thing, where you get enough people infected,
Right.
Well, they found out in a couple of these places that the one thing they're finding is the people that had antibodies in their system don't have a high enough antibodies a lot of times to stop reinfection. So that may be difficult. But arguing it that there's two sides to this argument, though. You're restricting the flow of visitors down here, tourists. Right now, without the hotels being open, you just get day trippers, and it pretty much greatly affected people in Key Largo. Not so much in Key West, because if you don't have any place to stay, but you can see how people would get, without having being 50% open, not having the bars open. You go down to Key West, right?
Mm-hmm.
The experience, that'd be like going to Disney World right now and say, hey, Disney World's reopened. The only thing you can't do is get on any of the rides.
Yeah.
But you could do everything else there. What do you mean? Well, you can go to, maybe you're allowed 40 people at a time going to see one of these 3D movies. You can go to, maybe we let 40 people in to see the Hall of Presidents.
Right.
But that'll be it. You can walk around Disney World and look at it. And that's what Key West pretty much would be like. You'd have the restaurants open and stuff like you sit at a table, but you wouldn't be able to sit at the bars. The best thing in the world is sit at the bar. And definitely, I don't know, and we never approached this one. You ever been to the smallest bar?
Yeah.
Yeah. The smallest
Yeah.
the smallest bar is no more than 6-7 feet wide. So if it's 6 feet wide, you can't get 6. You could probably, the smallest bar, you just go right in there. It's I'm visualizing it. It's about 10 feet or 10, 12 feet off the road the bar is when you walk through the little tiny storefront. Maybe 6 to 8 feet wide. They had two stools, which would be impossible to keep 6 feet apart. You couldn't have any more than two people in there. But
Right.
on a Saturday night, you could see like 15, 20 people crowded around there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you get four people in there, that would greatly exceed the. I mean, I don't know what the capacity is for the bar because it would spill out to the street. So,
Right.
Key West, if there's two ways you can open, you get rid of restrictions and not worry about social distancing,
Mm-hmm.
or you're going to open up and you're going to say you're not going to worry about profit. So,
Right.
yeah, opening a business. If you're a law office, that's great. You know what do you got, a waiting room in law office? You have four people waiting. You know it's not Better Call Saul. You know.
Right.
You got one. They get 3 clients a day. They're golden, right?
Right.
Or a plastic
Mm-hmm.
surgeon. Plastic surgeon could do it. Dentist, maybe a dentist.
Sure.
Hair salons are doing it around. I got my hair cut. That was a big deal.
You
Getting a
did?
haircut down here. Yeah. Yeah, they were all taking appointments. Everyone's taking appointments. But it's funny. Every place I called for an appointment, I had called 2 or 3 times and never got a call back. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
The 4th place did, and it was great. There was a girl that cut my hair before, and she does a great job. Another place wasn't open. I was calling up just to see when they would open. They called back. They answered. They actually answered and told me they weren't opening up.
Wow.
And she says, "Oh, I'm not opening up. I had an accident." I said, "Oh my God." Well, how unfortunate is that? Right when they were, allowed to open, she can't open because she had an accident. She should have. I apologize. An accident's an accident, but it'd been best to have the accident on March 20th or March 25th, right? Because she would have closed down. Eventually, they allowed owners to have, the owners to get paid because they're shut down without their. They didn't have any choice of being shut down, so they should be entitled to unemployment. So yeah, if you're going to have an accident and be injured or anything like that, that would have been a great time to come to life. She would have had the last week of March, all of April, and the first 2 weeks of May.
Yeah.
You could heal almost any break in that time.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's the best time to probably go into the. I know, maybe not pregnant, but yeah, if you're like 8 months pregnant and you're on bed rest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the hospitals were closed to voluntary procedures.
Right.
So there's plenty of capacity. And if you were stuck in bed rest for the last month and a half and you were giving birth to like right in the beginning of May, you were set. You go into labor, there's no traffic, there's plenty of parking at the hospital if it's not in a hotbed like New York or place like something like that. Because a lot of hospitals were underutilized by that. And you go in there and take it down, and you go back and spend a couple of days there. They probably won't rush. You'd probably want to get your kid out of the hospital as quick as possible. So.
Right.
Yeah. I just monopolized this. I'm sorry. I just got enamored that they had some random guy, J-Ron from Nova Scotia, get on. That was great. We're definitely going to do a live thing again. If there's any, maybe possibly I'll see if there's any strippers. I'd like to talk to a stripper. That'd be great. Awesome. What?
Sure.
No, I'm not. It's an audio medium, so it's not like we get to see anything.
Right.
This.
Hey, Jim.
What?
I have a question for you.
What?
So the catch, you said it's opening Monday. Is it opening at the 25% seating or the 50%
Well,
seating?
they just last week yesterday or the day before the governor moved it up to 50%.
He did. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm pretty sure that's what I saw, 50%.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I
Gotcha.
think so that I don't know if they said phase two, but phase three will be. Um, I well, I don't know, but once it goes up, they're going to have to. I don't know if I hope they eventually open the bars back. I mean, the bar up. I hope it's safe enough to,
Right.
because that really will affect how I work. Because running
Mm-hmm.
out and taking care of tables and going back and fixing on drinks and then running back taking drinks and running food stuff like that, that is that's a lot of work,
Yeah.
you know. But then again, uh, I think a lot of times when we have our one person, we're working as a group anyway. So when the food comes up, you know, I'll run it, they run it. So I just
Uh-huh.
won't have anybody at the bar coming up to the bar if they come up to the bar. I hear there's people being. I just can't wait to have. I hate to have any conflict, but um, I don't think I'm going to shrink away from someone coming up and saying, you know, what was it? They won't leave the bar.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't think I'm going to have a problem telling them and say, well, you're not going to get served. You can do whatever you want.
Right.
You can, you want to sit there. First of all, we're going to tell you. We're going to ask you to leave. You're not going to get served anything, and you're going to have to leave. And
Right.
it's not whether I'm afraid. You know, if they want to wear a mask, that's fine. But you're still not allowed. It's not me doing it. It's
Right.
it's it's mandated.
Yeah.
And this isn't. Jesus Christ! They picked this thing. This isn't their freedoms. This is like no taxation without representation. This is a public health emergency.
Right.
It would just be like if there was a very particular brutal STD spreading out there. If we had legal prostitution and they required everyone to wear condoms, right?
Right.
And what's a condom for? It's in most places they require it. Let's say in the adult entertainment industry, a
Right.
condom is to protect both people, right?
Yeah.
Protect the
Yeah.
man and the woman, or the man and the man, right, from getting
Yeah.
infected. It's, I mean, just don't understand. I've seen these protests out there where you have, you know who the Proud Boys are?
Yeah.
Or do you know who they are? Do you know what their agenda is?
They're aren't they just the Proud Boys? Are they far right, almost like Nazi types, aren't they?
Yeah. They're sugar coated Nazis.
Yeah.
Proud
Right.
Boys are sugar coated Nazis, and they have they have their own certain language and things like that on how to use. So you know,
Yeah.
anti-Semitic, racist, um, and yeah, they're out there protest, and they're kind of. I mean, you've got some tough ones, you know, he's kind of tough, and some of them are kind of geeky.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird. You know, you got some weird. I see
Yeah.
one guy. He was a big dude. He was a big dude, but he was kind of really geeky. I wish. I mean, if I run into one of them by himself, and for some reason, you know, these. Uh, I don't know what state. It was Washington State, so it wasn't open carry there. They weren't walking around with automatic weapons. But when they have open carry, of course, they're always going to walk around with their, you know, their automatic weapons. Which,
Right.
to this point, I don't know why they carry the automatic weapons.
Yeah.
You know what they
I don't
think.
get it.
What part of the protest is that? If they're protesting the
Yeah.
closure of the state, or are they protesting the protection of the Second Amendment rights? Because what they're
Right.
going to do in the end, is going to eventually, there's people that, like me, who, well, it's kind of nice to have a handgun, right?
Sure.
Don't own a handgun. But when you go out to the Kmart, there's not, oh, there's only 34 Kmarts left over. Just remember that fact, 34 brick and mortar Kmarts. Walmart,
Oh wow.
Costco, well, there. If you go to any of these stores and someone's walking around with an automatic weapon, even if you felt comfortable having a gun and stuff, now at this point you go, what the fuck's going on? McDonald's, walking in McDonald's, someone has a long rifle over their shoulder. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I just don't get it. And what it is, it's making there's people that want 100% to have their gun rights, and maybe a long rifle. I think I should be able to have a handgun. There's a people that I want to have a machine gun. I want to have an assault rifle. I want to have that. Okay, that's on one extreme end. And then there's people say I like having my handguns. I like having a concealed weapon permit. Yeah, okay, you got that. And then you got the people that join the NRA because, oh, well, you know what? I like having a handgun to protect my house. Right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden you go, wait a second. You're taking your 7-year-old kid out and there's 3 guys walking around with their automatic weapons. And you go, I don't feel safe anymore.
Right.
And these police officers the police officers have got to say, well, I believe in your Second Amendment right. I'm like this. The police officers looking at it and go like, oh my God, what are you thinking? If you're a police officer and you see all these people walking around with rifles.
Yeah. I just don't understand the reasoning for having.
Yeah, if the guy goes speeding, if you got to pull the guy over and he has an automatic, he's walking with an automatic rifle on his shoulder, right? You see all these guys.
Yeah.
What do they have in the car with them?
Canada outlawed them.
What?
Canada outlawed them.
Yeah. Canada did for a reason. For a good reason why they just recently did that. But imagine when you have to pull these guys over, you go to a rally and stuff like that, and a guy's speeding out away from a rally. You're pretty much certain that not only does that guy have a long rifle, he has a couple handguns, and you're pulling over a guy with a handgun.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
One good thing is they really can't walk into a bar with him. Right?
Can you not? I don't know. Can you not?
We're not supposed to drink.
Right. That makes sense.
You're not supposed to drink if you come in and you eat and go like this. Luckily, Florida isn't that kind of state yet. I'm surprised it isn't.
Right.
Florida's kind of like a business conservative thing,
Mm-hmm.
They don't really need say, wait a second, we don't want any assault right. You don't want you to walk in a store with assault right. I'm sure these other states that became open carry and stuff like that, a lot of these people that voted for it probably thought, holy shit, I didn't think they'd go this far with it.
Right.
Or maybe they didn't vote for it. Maybe they found when they went to the Supreme Court and they say, listen, you're just not allowed to have it. You have to get a concealed weapon permit. But if you carry it in the open, you don't need to have the permit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like a legal challenge but I guess I'll find out. I hope it's not a rule that they purposely went out and said, yeah, you can carry any weapon you want out in the open. Wow.
Yeah. Right.
So, do you own any weapons?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know I still have one. I think I'm going to...
I can understand maybe owning a handgun or even a shotgun. I just don't get the whole automatic weapon thing. I think that should be outlawed,
Yeah. I don't understand what they're waiting for when they're going there.
I don't even. More and more mass shootings, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. And, that's what they're made for. Who wrote that song? Leonard Skinner?
Yeah.
Saturday Night Special. They'd have to change it because it was a Saturday Night Special. It wasn't automatic weapons back then.
No.
there weren't a lot of them. So
Right. I mean,
that's kind
maybe in the military where they serve a purpose, but
of, yeah, yeah. Well, it's a shame that their penis doesn't work right. They have to go and substitute it for that. So
exactly.
yeah. Okay. Well, hey, J. Ron signed off. We had our first. I had a first go back and forth. I told you we had 400 downloads from Washington, Virginia. I'm going to post it there. And if you have any people in Washington, Virginia, wonder if they even have a mayor. To contact me at keysbartender.com. The email is addressed there. But you can contact me at jim@keysbartender.com. That's my email address. And we'd be happy to have someone from your area. Sounds like you're a big fan. I wouldn't be surprised that if Washington, Virginia is on the other side of the mountains from that guy, Joel, that psychologist that was on the show. He's staying in Virginia with his daughter.
Right.
So I thought it was him because he wasn't aware of how technology works and stuff like that necessarily. It was funny. I told you with Luke, one of the guys on the show last year and a year, for about a year, that I asked him, I said, Luke, do you ever listen to the shows? He goes, no, I don't know how to get it. And Luke was on about 80 shows.
Yeah.
Luke was on 80 shows, and he says, no, I don't know how to get it. I said, you don't listen to the show? And I said, and then I asked Bill, I go, Bill, do you ever listen to shows? Do you tell other people to listen to it? No, I don't know how to get it. I went, Bill knew how to get it, but he just didn't listen to the show. And Luke didn't tell anybody. I think he thought I was just recording him sometimes. Just recording them for like one of those tapes for posterity's sake that go into the Library of Congress. That years from now they come in. But you know what? This is posterity's sake. I have hundreds of episodes, and you've been on a decent amount of them. Oh, the schedule's going to be changing, so there won't be any more Friday night shows, Saturday night shows, or Sunday night shows, or Sunday day shows. So it'll be all confined to Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
I mean, I could do some days, but you're never available during the day.
Not really. It's tough. Yeah.
Maybe on a Saturday or something like that.
I'm
off. Wait, Tuesday and Thursday night. Okay.
Yeah, Tuesday nights are okay for me, and maybe Thursdays too. Yeah.
Tuesday. Well, it'll be Tuesday and Thursday night. Okay.
Yeah, those will be okay for me, I think.
See, I think of what I'm going to try to do is do a live show and a recorded show. I still want to do 4 shows a week because, if it get down to 5,000, 6,000 downloads a month, then I'm golden. I got to get on the board and figure out this affiliate marketing because then I can go back to. I think my schedule will go down to I'll take Sunday off.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll only be working 4 days a week, and then by the end of summer I'll work 3 days a week. I'm not saying the podcast is saying bartending. So I'll work those.
Right.
Yep. That's the dream.
Okay.
And then when I'll be doing this, I'll get to episode 1,000. I'll be episode 1,000. Wait, I'm 57. If I do 4 episodes a week, that's 200 episodes. I get up to maybe 500 episodes. I'll be 57. By the time I'm 60 years old, I want to have 1,000 episodes.
Wow.
I will do it. I swear to God, I will do it. I will fake it until I make it. Mark my words here. It was 3 years ago. I swear I'd get to 100 episodes, and here we are.
Right.
Episode 300. I don't know if it's any better than it was before, but we'll find out. I want to thank you for your time. I know I manipulated a lot of conversation. I would like to thank J. Ron, who thought we were a different show. I guess when I post a live show, I better put Keys Bartender in there.
Yeah, good idea.
Because it's posting the episode. It just says episode 283. It doesn't say Keys bartender.
Right.
I'm gonna wait. Maybe I'll put. I'm gonna make the episodes. I'll make the titles even more. What would you call that? Intriguing. Right. The next one I'll just
Sure.
make it, and all the live episodes will have names like extremely large penis, explosive orgasm. Uh, what would you call win $1 million. Win $1 billion. There you go. That'll be one. Win $1 billion. I'm giving away a car. You can live at my house. What else can I make? Things will be.
What's that?
I'm just thinking episodes to get just see a live episode. And people go, well, listen, we're giving away. There's Lithuanian 19-year-old Lithuanian au pairs. $50 a week. There you go. Post a pretty picture.
There you go.
Put that on there. Get a couple perverts come on there.
Right.
Yep. Win a bride. That'd be a good one. Win a bride. Any
And a bride.
Yeah. Oh, free medical marijuana card. Oh my God. Oh, I'm
That
supposed
would
to
be
get. Yeah. And I'll tell you about. I might be getting one of those soon. Did you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You might be getting one of those?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. We shall see. Okay. I'm still haven't drank. It's been 5 months without a drink.
That's great.
Yep. So we'll see how this works out. Well, I want to thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
Until I'll talk to you later on in the week. You say Thursday sounds good right now, and then I'll check on you maybe Tuesday to see how Thursday is.
Yeah. Check out. Sometimes we go out Thursday night for dinner, so hit me up a day or two early just so I can make sure what's going on.
Well, how about if I hit you up tomorrow about Tuesday then?
Okay,
No.
that sounds good.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
I'll talk to you.
Talk to you later.
Bye. I'm going to play the music now. I'm going to leave you on. I'm not going to hang up on you. Thanks, listeners. Thank you, Washington, Virginia. Thank you, J. Ron from Nova Scotia. And thank you, Trailer Park Boys.